Hello there, everyone, and thank you so much for taking the time to download us Mood Food Series 1. We are now on episode number 6, and we appreciate everyone's support as we are throwing in some of these special episodes that mean so much to what's currently going on. We appreciate everyone downloading all that we have been putting out there, and we hope that it is informative and that you are receiving what you need in order to make it through this difficult time. The views expressed in this podcast called Mood Food are mine and mine alone, and in no way do the opinions expressed represent the views, positions, or opinions of the Department of the Air Force, the Department of Defense, the United States government, including resources listed during today's podcast. I'm your host, Jason Gordon, and we are so glad to have you with us today. Thank you for downloading us on Apple Podcasts platform, Spotify, TuneIn, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, all the platforms out there. We sincerely appreciate it. If you will, please take some time to go on Apple and leave us a review. We would greatly appreciate that so very much. And also let us hear from you at moodfoodpodcast@gmail.com. That's moodfoodpodcast@gmail.com. And we'd love to hear from you, how the podcast is helping you and how you are doing out there and where you are listening from. That gives us some encouragement to keep everything going on. And we've already heard from numerous people from around the world, and we are grateful for that. Don't forget that we do have a Facebook page now, so feel free to look us up and follow us and like us there as well. We put all the programs on that platform as well, so you can listen to them if you want to. And please keep reviewing everything that I've been sharing with you ever since we started this series. It's very important that you build off of this, because the more you build off of what you've been learning and continue to learn, you'll see that progress in your everyday life and situations, and see how well you overcame a lot of adversity and things that just normally would just bring you down and drag you down. You've made it through it, and be proud of yourself for that, because reviewing is part of your mood food diet. And today's podcast is called Motivation. And what is motivation? Sometimes it's very hard to dig up enough strength to have motivation to make change in our lives, right? So it's something that can just populate on its own, or do you have to kickstart yourself to actually get something accomplished in your lives? I know for me, it takes a lot of mental portion going on, or mental encouragement and psyching myself out to start things, because I have a lot of worry. Sometimes I start thinking about it, and the anxiety kicks in, and it kind of stops me in my tracks. So a little self-disclosure there. I want to make sure that I am able to accomplish something, and that I'm not biting off more than I can chew. So I start thinking about everything way too far in advance, and sometimes that can be anxiety provoking, and it can actually kill your motivation and stop you in your tracks. So I'm going to give you some tips today to help you with that, because I want to make sure that you set small goals. That way you do reach those goals that you want to, and those objectives, that you have plans for your life, right? And you want to be able to work through those plans and those goals productively. All right, so we're going to continue on here. So according to psychology today, motivation is the desire to act in service of a goal or objective. So it's the oomph of getting started, the fuel and the passion and flame of getting something important that you want to get done in your life accomplished. So how much can we actually influence our motivation levels or self-control? Well, I'm here to tell you a lot. And so motivation might be either in your life an extrinsic part of you, which is meaning that you might be the type of person that is inspired by outside forces and influences that kind of get you going. Motivation can also be an intrinsic form, meaning that the inspiration comes from deep within your soul, and that you might be that type if you don't like something, that you just have to dig deep about yourself and you want to change. You'll find that inner motivation to change what you don't like or the situation that you want to try to gain control of. Intrinsic motivation tends to empower people more forcefully, and the accomplishments are more fulfilling because you were able to overcome the adversity or issue that could have otherwise stopped you in your tracks. And as I mentioned earlier, sometimes I do get stopped in my tracks and I have to wait, hold on a minute. You got to move forward. Don't get so stressed out about it. Just take that huge step out on faith and make it happen for yourself. So whether you are motivated by extrinsic or intrinsic influences, here are some tips that will hopefully get you jump started. And remember to make them fit for you. Make it for you, personalize them, make it work for you. If you don't have a pen, that is okay. Don't stress out about that right now. I put all the steps in the podcast description, so you'll be able to see them there. So there's about 10 of them here, so bear with me, but I think they are all very important, and a couple of them are all grouped together, so it'll be kind of quick here. So number one is force yourself to start. And starting, and I tell everyone myself, it's hard getting started, right? But once you get started, you can get that forward momentum that you so desperately need to propel you, to keep you moving forward. And the motivation will come. The more you further go down the road with this goal or plan that you have for your life, keep fanning it, keep nurturing it, keep allowing it to let you propel forward so that you can reach whatever kind of situation or goal that you want to accomplish. And you might be that type to wait for the right moment to start a project or some goal in your life. And this frame of mind and this type of thinking is a trap, right? I think it personally is a trap because it's stall tactics at its finest. And you have to think realistically about it, because if you have that frame of mind that you're going to wait for that moment or that opportunity to start, sometimes I've been waiting for that train long enough and I'm like, I need to do something. So the reality is something will always get in the way. Either if it's us talking ourselves out of it or life happens, right? So just start something, okay? Because things will happen which can always get in the way of doing the work that needs to be done. And studies have shown that the most successful people don't wait around until they are inspired or in the right mindset. They just get started and they start feeding that hunger to do more. And because they want to make sure that what they are doing is moving in the right direction, and it will. You'll notice that after a while, you'll see what awesome work you have accomplished so far, which will motivate you to continue on even more. So make small goals, write them out, cross them off a list. It's very gratifying. So number 2 is envision the end result. Use your imagination to see what it will look like once you have completed it. And that's a very important one. If you're more of a visual type person, it helps you kind of map out where it is you are going and the steps that you need to take to get there. Number 3 is imagine taking the next action step. And these actually complement each other from number 3 and number 4. It's like seeing the big picture. And number 2 kind of ties in there as well. So if you're that type that struggles with a project and starting it and imagining what it's going to look like and end result looks like, sometimes if you do look at that end result, that can be actually motivating and give you more incentive to finish it because you want to get there. You want to have the results look like the picture, whether it's baking a cake and I've had some cakes that look just like totally different. I have no idea what happened. I promise you I read all the directions, but something just went wrong and it didn't look like anything. I think I was baking a cake and it actually looked like a Frisbee. So it didn't rise. And so I'm like, okay, but that's a story for another day. And many athletes will actually use this type of frame of mind, which is imagining what it will look like at the end result, which they'll do that in their strategies to help them stay focused on their goals and to keep motivated, whether it's working out or doing the number of home runs or touchdowns, whatever you would like to fit into that. But athletes like to use this frame of mind, and ideas like putting up a picture of the finished product can once again help you keep you motivated. And even when you're faced with unexpected delays and issues, don't get overwhelmed. Take a break. exercise, read a book, or talk with someone that is inspirational to kind of feed those vibes that you'll need to continue. And number 5 is trick yourself into getting started. That's right. Trick yourself into getting started. So I'm telling you, a lot of this is mind over matter. It really is. So if you are the type that looks at a project or life goal with the mindset of what is the point in even getting started with this, you might be a little bit pessimistic about it. Why am I doing this? Okay. I encourage you to stop doing that. And I encourage you to ask yourselves the 3 W's. And you're like, okay, what is that? And, so number 1 is, why am I doing this? You got to put the why behind some things sometimes, because that will help you motivate you to get started. So why am I doing this? Where am I heading? And where do I want to be in 1 to 2 to 3 years time, or whatever kind of time frame you've kind of laid out for yourself and your project and your goals? So answering these questions can help you clarify any issues or any confusion about the path you need to take, and can help you focus more energy that will be needed to get you started. So even if it is researching something or talking with someone about it, that is starting. Okay, you have a starting point. Just start working through it. And number 6 is gain clarity. So set a deadline for the project to be completed, write out a project timeline, and make sure you stick to it. Number 7 is power nap it up. And you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, what is this about? So it's very interesting though, because you can really recharge if you find yourself reading that line over and over again and not making any progress, or just sitting in the chair waiting for something to happen. So that spark of incentive to get up and do something. So if you're feeling really tired, stop what you are doing and take a power nap instead. Usually between 10 to 24 minutes is a good duration to sleep. I cannot do that. It doesn't do anything for me, but I hope that I'm going to try it though. I'm going to try it. I'm going to be optimistic about it. I'm going to try it. So they have found that it can be very helpful and energizing, and get those neurons firing and get those ideas of creativity flowing. So any longer might interfere with your sleeping pattern later on in the evening. So just be careful with that. Don't get into a habit of taking naps close to bedtime. It's going to ruin your sleep for the night. So don't do that. Number 8 is watch an uplifting video on YouTube, or put on some upbeat music. That's a good one, because that will motivate you, get that creativity side sparked. So if you're looking or feeling in your mood, that's just hit the tank, it's on the rock bottom, and you're just not feeling all that inspired, watch an inspirational video or listen to some music. But limit yourself. Don't go from video to video to video. It'll eat up a lot of your useful time, and you don't want to do that. So you keep some inspirational music on in the background. That's fine too. Just don't let it distract you. Number 9 is move your body. Physical activity can inspire creativity. It can decrease the stress levels and sharpen your ability to think. So if you want to feel motivated and be more productive, then hit the gym. Go for a run, participate in a dance class, or just get up and move around the room, or go outside and walk around your house, or do something. Just get out and get that blood circulating. And number 10 is work in an 8-minute power burst. And some people will do 8 to 10 minutes. That's what I normally will do, and it helps me kind of hyper focus on what I need to get done for that amount of time. So this was very interesting, and so I tried it today actually, and it did help me get a few things done that I needed to get done because I was hyper focused on it. So I basically set an alarm on my phone for about 10 minutes. And so I worked through that 10 minutes of a power burst of getting things done and hyper focusing on what I needed to get done. And I actually got it done instead of spinning around in circles yelling, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? How do I get started? I don't even know what I'm doing here. So it actually helps. So when you need to start or work on a particular project, set an alarm to motivate you to focus about 8 to 10 minutes. And when the alarm goes off afterwards, if you're still having a difficult time, just take a break. Just take a break. But if you're doing well on that tactic and it's working for you, set another alarm for about another 8 to 10 minutes and see how well you're doing. And you'll see the progress that you make in getting started with a project, and or once you have started the project, you may be in the middle of it. But just set some of those timers. It'll help keep you stimulated and also keep you on track. So try these steps and please let me know if they helped you at all. I would love to hear that. So remember to keep using these tools to hopefully keep you motivated so that you can thrive and be productive and be proud of yourself. But most importantly, be patient with yourself. Stick to the steps and take the actions needed to change the behaviors in your life that you want to desperately change, that you know you need to change, that are negatively impacting you. And so your motivation will continue to thrive, and you will see how it improves. And that's terrific. Celebrate that, build off of it, use those steps to knock out all of your projects each and every time. You'll find how productive you've made your day. So here's an inspirational quote for you before we close up for today, and it's by the Dalai Lama. And here it goes. It is under the greatest adversity that there exists the greatest potential for doing good, both for oneself and others. Thank you so much for joining us for today's broadcast of Mood Food. Please make sure that you subscribe to us, you rate us, you like us, recommend us to all of your family and friends. And remember the disclaimer at the beginning, because I'm always going to stick to that. And to keep your mind full of positive mental food. And tune in next week for a program that we're going to be discussing something very important as well, and that is sleeping. The title of the episode is Quality Sleep is a Challenge, and I think we can all relate to that. So for program suggestions and to let us know how you're doing and where you're listening from, and we appreciate that so much, please keep the emails coming. It's very inspiring. Send us an email to moodfoodpodcast@gmail.com, and we will be most grateful to hear from you. We will definitely reply to that email. Look us up on Facebook as well. We have our page there. Continue to like us and follow us. Put a posting up there. We would love to hear from you. And once again, we really appreciate everyone. Please continue to be safe out there. Whatever you believe in as your foundation, say some prayers for all of us. We desperately need them at this hour. Be safe, everyone. And until next week, we will talk to you soon. I'm your host for Mood Food, Jason Gordon.